Hello and welcome to Megatrip Tokyo, or should I say, Konnichiwa Yosoko Megatrip Tokyo. Here's what's coming up on this Megatrip in the capital of Japan, Tokyo. There's rules until there aren't any rules. Mixing up the famous Japanese delicacy, natto, which is not to my taste. So we're going to feed that to my brother in a minute. Check these bad boys out. You have to get here and have a look yourself. Capital city, the biggest city in the world. Wow. I'm going to check the map, but I think this is what's actually known colloquially as Piss Alley. This is glorious. Through the magic of editing, you now know more than I do about what's going to happen to me today. But I'm sure it's going to be exciting. We are here in the capital city of Japan on the east coast, Tokyo. We've got a few things planned, but we'll see what we get up to. They're definitely going to involve some temples, some shopping, some great views, some food, and probably most exciting for me, catching up with one of my oldest and best friends. So let's get on with it. Cue the music. Alright, before we head out on today's adventure, I thought I'd show you what £70 gets you in a hotel room in downtown Tokyo. You might notice I've switched to a wide angle lens because it's a little bit bijou, as you would expect. So like I said, this hotel room is £70 a night, and I'll talk a bit more about the chain in a second. But you see, it's a lovely little room. It does the job perfectly. You come in, you've got a nice little desk, drawers area, and on that desk you'll see, certainly for me, my laptop where I can get my editing done, and a little Megatrip sticker there. I'll be giving some of those away, so if you want to enter for a Megatrip sticker, just leave a comment in the comments and 5 people are going to win those, and I'll send those off to you. A bed, which we'll check out in a second, and a nice big widescreen TV if that's what you want, and it has a little window down to a view of the city. So that's kind of it for your 70 quid, in the room at least. In the bathroom, very, very Japanese. Just flip the light on there, you'll notice that this is slightly raised. And like a lot of hotel bathrooms in Japan, it's basically a little prefab unit that they drop in. So you can see your Japanese toilet, mixer tap on the side, and a small little shower area. So very efficient design, very small design, and really, in reality, you kind of stand in one place or stand in 2 places, and you can reach everything within the bathroom all in one go. So that's what you get for £70 here in downtown Tokyo. Pretty small, like I said, but what's good about these hotel rooms is they're with a company called APA or APA. They have hotels all over the country. I guess similar to kind of a travel lodge or a Premier Inn or something like that. And in terms of value and consistency, they're absolutely great. They'll usually have a little restaurant or a bar downstairs, and they are pretty similar everywhere that you go. And this one, when I say downtown Tokyo, is in Shinjuku. So that is one of the main commuter areas, one of the main areas, the home of a lot of famous sites and things to see and do that we'll see later today. So of course the very last thing to do before we head off is the bed test, which I've already done, so I know it's pretty good. But now we're going to head out on a bit of an adventure into Tokyo proper on this episode of Megatrip. Japan, as we've seen in my previous videos, is a land of temples and shrines. Tokyo is no different to that. And if you come to Tokyo and you've only got time to do one, which is really all I have, then there's only one place to go. And that is to the Meiji Jingu shrine or temple. It's a massive complex of guardians, temples, and shrines right in the very heart of the city here in Tokyo. Now, a little bit of fact, a little bit of history. This shrine complex was built in dedication to the Emperor Meiji and his wife following their demise in 1912. And construction then started on this area in a little garden they used to like to visit, and then this was opened in 1920. So that's where we're going today, the Meiji Jingu Shrine and Gardens here in central Tokyo. Let's check this out. So I've just walked up from the metro, and the very first thing you see is this massive wooden gate leading to this grand avenue through the park down to the temple, or to the shrine complex. So let's go have a little wander down there, see what's up. As I'm walking down, I think it's probably worth giving some reflections on Japan now I've come back. So the last time I was here, I don't know exactly, but it was at least 10 years ago, and the country has changed massively. So there's a few things that I've really noticed. One, way more Westerners, not maybe more foreigners per se, but definitely more Westerners, more white faces, way more English being spoken. I've got mixed feelings about this, if I'm honest. I mean, part of me loves to travel and perhaps see the places that other Westerners don't go to, but the other part of me desperately wants to, share that experience with others. I mean, that's exactly what this YouTube channel is all about. But that does mean it's a lot easier, a lot more accessible, a lot more signs in English. Certainly when the first time I came here, which was the best part of 20 years ago. So that's changed. I think it's also worth reflecting on the differences between Osaka and Tokyo. I was really struck on the Tokyo metro this morning on, frankly, just how miserable the people looked. I think that's the same in any big commuter city, but the atmosphere in the Osaka area is perhaps a bit happier, a bit lighter, a few more smiling faces. I mean, I wouldn't let that put you off either, but Tokyo is very much a city. It is a mega city, if not the mega city, the biggest city in the world. So that's kind of the Osaka-Tokyo difference. It's probably also worth talking about the metro itself, and there is a difference there. It is a bit busier here in Tokyo than in the Osaka or Kyoto areas, and that's exactly what you'd expect, right? It is a massive, sprawling network. It's still super easy to use, but there will be a few more people. But if you're familiar with public transport networks like the ones in London or New York, say, or other big mega cities, it's very much the same thing. It's what you make of it. Take your headphones, try and be polite, follow the signs, follow what other people do. Anyway, that's enough of me kind of reflecting. Let's enjoy this walk through the woods down to the temple area and this amazing complex here in Tokyo, Japan. So I've only been here at the Meiji Jingu Shrine once before, and that was on my first visit to Japan, probably about 20 years ago. And at that point, I approached from the city side, from Shinjuku Station, and it was great, wonderful experience. But this time I've come from the other side and I've walked through the garden, and I have to recommend it as a slightly nicer approach. You get some calming, tranquil, contemplative time as you walk up towards the shrine. So that's definitely something I'd recommend. If you want to do that, the station you want to head for is Yoyogi, not Shinjuku. You can of course approach from Shinjuku, but Yoyogi even is the one if you want to walk through these beautiful subtropical rainforest-like gardens. And that then starts to bring you to this place, to the main shrine here at Meiji Jingu. Check this out. Like everywhere in Japan, beautifully clean, wonderfully presented. A real must-see, must-do place to come visit. Absolutely stunning. Like it's straight out of a picture book. Right, we're going to go in a second, but first off we're going to follow a Japanese tradition before you head into a Shinto tribe. It's massively important that you're clean as you approach, so we're just going to wash our hands in this little fountain here. Purifying not only your hands, but your mouth. Like I've said before, I'm not a religious guy, but it's massively important here, I think, to respect the traditions and philosophies of other cultures. One of which is this, the omikuji, or fortune. So, I'll drop the 100 yen in a second off camera. Let me just show you how this works. First, you shake the box. You then chuck out a stick. That will give you a number, 27 in this case. And that defines your fortune. So, let's have a little look at this one. Flip it over. Even a high peak seen soaring in the sky, so high above, can be scaled if we desire, since they're the path for climbing. You can see here, this is giving us a nice little poem composed in traditional 5-7-5-7-7 syllable form. And in this case, this is one composed by the Emperor Meiji himself. So I'm going to keep this, I'm going to pop it in my wallet for a bit of luck. But I'm going to stop recording for a second now so I can pay for this. One of the most impressive things about a place like this, it's not just the buildings, it's not just the positioning, it's actually the scale. I take a quick spin around, and you can see behind me, just in the middle of this square, the amount of elements that make up this grand complex honouring the Emperor Meiji. Let's go have a look at a few of those specifics now. In one corner of the temple area, you can see these two camphor trees that were planted back in 1920 as this whole complex was launched and went live, I guess, in modern parlance. And you can see they're tied together here. And these trees were really to symbolise the emperor and his wife and that bond, that bind of marriage. I think that's certainly interesting. Right, let's check out some of the other bits. The Shinto religion is as much about nature and elemental forces as it is about gods and myths and morals. And that means one of the things that I appreciate the most here, and you will if you're kind of into the horticultural, is the array of bonsai trees that they have around one of the corners of the shrine area. So let's have a little look at those now. Check these out. Absolutely stunning, from the leaves down to the manicured moss around the base. Variety of different breeds. You see probably about 20 or 30 of these different trees, different sizes, different shapes, different colours, some flowering, some just in their natural leafy state. They do all have one thing in common though. They are all exquisitely presented. Perhaps not too much of a surprise. Here at this centre of Japanese culture, at the centre of Tokyo, the capital city, the biggest city in the world. Wow. Temples and grounds here are nowhere near as big as the ones in Nara. They're not as old as the ones in Nara, and you can check those out in my previous video, Awesome Osaka, or a couple of videos ago. But you have to remember these are in the heart of the capital city, and there really is something quite special about the atmosphere here set in these amazing gardens. And the buildings, although not as big, not as old, are still incredibly impressive. Just check out how nicely put together the joinery on the wood. And again, all wood construction. Absolutely stunning. Every last centimetre hewn to perfection. Great craftsmanship. There's no photography allowed at the main temple or prayer area that you can see behind me. I've just gone and given a small offering as a sign of respect. But what that means, Megatripper, so you have to get here and have a look yourself. So let me know in the comments if that's something you're going to do. I'd love to hear from other people who have been here and what you thought. But get yourself out to Japan. Come and check this out. Well, that's it for this video here at Meiji Jingu. We'll now be heading off to check out some of the rest of what Tokyo has to offer. Let's go. Tokyo is a massive metropolitan city. One of the things you want to do when you get here is get a view of that city, usually from a high vantage point. Now, the typical place to go, I guess, is the Tokyo Skytree, where you have to go and buy a ticket. But the other option is where we're going, which is the Tokyo Municipal building. And they have 2 towers you can go up to for absolutely free and get a great view of the city. So now, that's exactly what we're going to go do. Check these bad boys out. 2 huge towers rising above the city here in Tokyo. Yu-chan! How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Oh my god.
So you've been, what, 10 years?
Yeah, really?
Something like that, I think so. So 45 floors above the streets of Tokyo, you can go up to one of the 2 observatories, the North or the South Tower, completely and totally free. Lovely little gift shop and a cafe up here, and you can walk around the whole circumference of the building, checking out the amazing views of the city of Tokyo below you. And we take a little look out this window here, you can really see the skies and the scale of this place. Biggest city of the world, stretching right out over the horizon. If you've ever been to the Empire State Building and looked down over New York, that really gives you an idea of the scale of this place. Absolutely amazing. And with Boo. Couldn't be better. So I'm now in the other observatory, the South Observatory. And just like everything in Japan, it is really, really well run. The windows are clean, there's plenty of refreshments. Actually, the atmosphere is just kind of chill and nice. There's even a grand piano, which I'll refrain from trying to play because, well, I can't. I know all you New Yorkers out there are proud of your city and you think that it's big and impressive. You ain't got nothing on Tokyo. Check out this place, 360 degrees, ridiculous size. So now made it to Shibuya station. Come out the station. We are at, I believe I've got this right, the famous, the infamous Shibuya crossing. The level crossing going in all directions in the centre of Tokyo that you've seen from multiple films. Here it is. One of the most famous sights in Tokyo. If I'm perfectly honest though, it's a level crossing. I don't really get it. It's not really for me, but hey, if you're here, why not? Come down, have a look. It's a mental crossing in the middle of the road. Here we are. So I'm here in Tokyo with Bu-chan, one of my oldest friends. Hello, Bu-chan. Hello. Do you want to tell people how I know you? No, Bu's very shy. So Bu was one of the people, we lived in London together almost 20 years ago, 17 years ago. We're not that old. And one of the reasons I came to Japan the first time. So she showed me around today, so I won't be filming too much. So although the crossing is just a crossing, Shibuya is a good area to come down to, have a wander around, packed full of shops and restaurants, much more modern than some of the old elements of Japan that we have seen in other videos. Definitely worth a trip. I would say I've looked at the website for these guys, and they're definitely not Mariokart. That is what they claim, certainly not for legal reasons. So this is the main street here in Harajuku, Tokyo. Very loud down here. I'm reliably informed that this is the centre of youth fashion culture in Tokyo. I'm not 100% sure I know what that means, but we'll figure it out. What does that mean, Boo? What's this famous for? Famous for Japanese young culture. Right. Harajuku style. Okay. So, we've come to the land of plastic things in plastic capsules here in Harajuku. Part of the experience, apparently. We'll wander around, see what we can see. There's some cute little things. I think that's the best way I can describe them. Tamagotchis here, Tamagotchi toys. Let's find something suitably cheesy and very Japanese. Oh, I like these guys. Right, let's see what this is about. To 300 yen, so that is about £1.50 or a couple of dollars maybe. Let's see what we've got. Go on, Bu-chan. Help an old bloke sort these out. Do you want to open that for me?
Okay.
What are we getting here? So we spend 6 hours taking tape off. Oh, that is quite cute. Kawaii, right?
Kawaii, right? Yeah. Kawaii. What's his name? Big Pool.
What's his name?
Big Pool.
Big Paul?
Big Pool.
Big Cool.
Big Pool. Big Pool.
Big Cool. So he's famous from a TV show or a book or?
No, it's a Sanrio character. It's a
like
Sanrio. So.
like Hello Kitty,
Yeah.
like a sticker. So Biku, right?
Yeah. Big Pool.
So me and Biku are going to carry on checking out Harajuku with Bu-chan. Give it a go. Why not? Not enough tat in everyone's life. Jeans, mate. There's lots of very funky, trendy shops here with weird kind of fashion items. Check this out. It's right on my brother's street. Seb, I found your new outfit. For any aspiring S&M rock stars, you can get your full garb here. Samurai. Or something for the weekend. Yeah, they didn't have my size though, that's the problem. We're with Boo-chan, mixing up the famous Japanese delicacy, natto, which is not to my taste. So we're going to feed that to my brother in a minute and see how that works out. He'll join us at this wonderful Megatrip family lunch. Here we go. Let us know what you think. Okay. So the verdict is no, absolutely not, I believe. In the centre of Tokyo is the Imperial Palace and the Imperial Gardens surrounding it. And it's essentially this massive square. I think it's actually about 4 or 5 kilometres around the perimeter. I did run around it once. There's a massive square in the centre of Tokyo, which starts with some pretty impressive works. So if you look behind me here, you can see this old stone perimeter, which would have in the past protected the Imperial Palace and the moat. And that literally runs all the way around the corner in the centre of modern Japan. Look at that. All surrounded by modern buildings. Apparently, in the middle here there's some gardens we can take a look at, and also the Imperial Palace. So we're going to have a little wander through, see what we can see, and try and figure it out. We are heading on our way up to the Imperial Palace here in the centre of Kyoto, in this amazing park surrounded by all the modern buildings. To get there, we're going to go over a rather famous landmark, and that is the Nijibashi Bridge. Now I'll translate that for you pretty quickly. Believe me, it's quite easy. Ni means two, Niju means two of them, Bashi means bridge. So basically it means a 2-arch bridge. Check this guy out. You see, connecting the Imperial Palace with the inner moat here in the Imperial Gardens. Let's keep on heading up the hill and see what there is to see. So it looks like today the Imperial Palace is shut to us, at least. Trevor and Tony, the 2 guards down there, they're very, very nice about it, but definitely not letting us in. But I'm sure there's more we can find. If we go down here, you can see more beautiful architecture. Still definitely worth the walk up that little bit of hill. I mean, the scale of this place is massively impressive. Hello Megatripper. So you join me on another sunny morning here in Tokyo, Japan. This time, or well, after last night's antics, I'm here in Shinjuku. I'm leaving Tokyo, or leaving Japan tomorrow morning, crack of dawn, for a little 24-hour trip, which I'll also be doing a video on. But for now, I figured I'd come to Shinjuku, have a little look around, I have a little bit of shopping to do. If you don't know what Shinjuku is, it is one of the biggest, most popular shopping and entertainment districts here in Tokyo. So let's have a little look around. I guess where I'm starting, some nice little fashion stores. The ubiquitous Uniqlo. I'm afraid Megatrip Don won't fit in those. But you can also, like many Asian cities, come and get your suits for your salarymen. So I think I've used that term a few times, and salaryman here in Japan is really someone who works more than they should, a bit of a lifer in the business. Anyway, so look at this little alley I found myself walking down. So at night, this will come to life in terms of little bars and little izakayas. I'm going to check the map, but I think this is what's actually known colloquially as Piss Alley. It's where everyone comes for a drink and then, has to go for a piss afterwards. Obviously, the daytime is not the time to be down here, but still super cool with the lanterns and the old buildings. See some gents getting their breakfast this morning. Two national sports really in Japan, two big ones. Sumo, which you'll see at the Basho, which is quite seasonal. But the other big one is baseball. It's so big, they even have it playing out over Shinjuku. Check this out. The size of that TV. Right, I need to not get distracted. Go find what I actually need. I think I've mentioned a few times that Japan is very much based on, or has a very strong public transport system. And you'll find really that all of the main areas are heavily linked to the main rail stations, Shinjuku being one of them, one of the biggest rail stations in the world. Which is why you can find all the shops, eateries, nightlife, parties, whatever you want right down here. Tokyo is friggin' massive. It really is quite hard to kind of explain just how big it is. To give you an idea, the main centre of Tokyo, downtown Tokyo I guess, itself is absolutely huge. It can take you best part of an hour to get across it. And that has a population of 14 million. Now, if you look at the greater metropolitan area of Tokyo, that then rises to 37 million. That's over half the population of the UK. And what that means is, when you think about somewhere like Shinjuku, Shinjuku itself is actually a city. It's got its own mountains, it's got its own things going on. Well, hills really, not mountains. So, if you've only got, say, one day in Tokyo, Shinjuku is probably top of my list to come to. You can find karaoke bars, you can find places to eat, you can find shops, entertainment, you can find people dressed up in their crazy costumes and lots of youth culture. So top tip, if you're only here for one day, Shinjuku could be for you. Anyway, I need to get a bag, so I'm going to have a little look in the shop over here. Okay, so that's me bagged up. That sounded weird, didn't it? That's me having bought a replacement bag. And I guess it's time to figure out what else there is to do knocking around in Tokyo. Or specifically in Shinjuku City. Let's take a mooch. If you're flying out of Narita Airport, you're probably going to get there in one of a few ways. One, taxi. It's very expensive. Probably about £200. What's that? $250, $300, 250 euros. Or either train or bus. Now, you can get the Narita Express train from here in Shinjuku, and you can also get a coach from here in Shinjuku. They both take maybe an hour or 20 minutes, something like that, that kind of region. Look it up. The other option is to get the Skyway or SkyTrain to Narita Airport, and that goes from Nippori Station further to the east. But one way or another, you're likely to come through Shinjuku Station for that reason, if you're flying out of Narita instead of Haneda. If you have the choice, I would recommend Haneda. It's much closer to the centre of town, but like many big cities, the biggest airport with most flights. It's quite often on the outskirts. Alright, so that's a fair bit of mooching around Shinjuku and Shinjuku Station. It is pretty busy, to say the least. So I think I'm going to go out and get a little bit of park, a little bit of outside space. So, like I said, Shinjuku is a city. So I'm going to go to the Shinjuku Goen National Park, have a little look around there, but to get there, I'm going to take the subway. Here we go. So 15 minutes later, having taken the tube, or the subway here I guess, still in Shinjuku, about to check out the Shinjuku Goen National Park, but I came across this map that I wanted to show you, just to give you an idea of scale. You'll see it's the Shinjuku City area map, and that's the city that we're in now. It's part of Tokyo. Down here is where we started, in Shinjuku, hanging around this area over here, and now we've got the metro over here, and we are here about to check out the national park. So let's go have a look. I have to say, walking up to it, it's actually a little bit intimidating in terms of the size of it on the map, the size of it on the kind of map on my phone. But it looks cool, man. There's some really big old trees that I'm walking in, and it looks like it's a ticketed park, which is probably a good sign in terms of quality compared to the Imperial Gardens the other day. But yeah, really interested to see what this looks like. Let's go have a mooch about. Alright, so there we go. Another little advantage of the IC card, or ICOCA card, which means let's go, as I found out the other day. Not only can you use it in some shops and vending machines and to get through on the subway, on the bus, etc. It's also just paid me into this park as well. So that's pretty handy. £2.50, and you know what? The second that I've walked in here, it's like you're somewhere completely different. We've just been from downtown Shibuya City, the hustle, the bustle, the big buildings, and we're straight into this glorious little park. I mean, look at this. But let's go the way without all the people and have a little walk around. I guess like any big city like this, the parks are massively important. They give you a chance to chill out, to get away from the madness for a little bit. One thing I have noticed about Tokyo, or Japan in general I guess, is, or the big cities in Japan, when you get away from the hustle and bustle and you try to get to a park, and you think about like London or New York or Berlin, there's loads and loads of little parks. There's one of the few big ones, but here in Tokyo in particular, it's all about the big parks. But that does mean that you get some amazing views like this one. You see here, looking back across the length of the Shibuya Goen National Gardens, and you can see in the background the skyscrapers overlooking. What a nice place to spend the day. Perfect. ICOCA. Well, it feels like that as we're in Japan, the place to head to is the Japanese traditional garden. Let's go, ICOCA. Of course, it wouldn't be a Japanese garden without the obligatory carp. And of course, terrapins, something you'll see in a lot of ponds out here. This is glorious. what a stunning place Shinjuku Goen National Gardens is. But as you can tell, it's a little bit hot. So I think just spot a little place, can nip in and get a little snack and a drink, I think. Come on, let's take a look, see what they've got. As you can see here, they even proclaim what rice they use, and it's that important. I think we have a little onigiri place here, so little rice balls. Leave my shoes with everyone else's. I did manage to film in that onigiri tea room, as you'll see, but I didn't manage to give you a voiceover and kind of let you know what was going on in there, and I'll do that now. But the reason I couldn't do that, as you'll see from the video, is it's really a tranquil space, a calm space, a quiet space for reflection, for getting out of the hot sun or the cold winter weather or the rain, depending on what season you're here. Anyway, like I said, it's an onigiri place and a tea room, so they serve two things. I'll start with the obvious one, tea. So hot or cold, varieties of green tea. I went for cold on this pretty boiling day. And the other thing is onigiri. And onigiri are rice balls, so they're rice balls with something. So I had a beautiful cured salty salmon with mine, but you might have salmon roe or cod roe, you might have mackerel, you might have pickles or plum, and they're eaten with rice. And then one of the traditional ways of eating them, and you've seen people doing this, I guess, at 7-Elevens and other stores, is wrapped in nori or in green seaweed and use that as an edible handle. Now, I don't really like nori, so you'll see in the video, I'm obviously just eating the rice and the fish there with my fingers, but it didn't take away from the deliciousness of it, from the taste of the tea. So definitely something that I'd recommend that you do if you make it down here to Shinjuku Goen National Gardens. Anyway, it's time, I guess, for me to head out of here. I have to fly early tomorrow morning. As I said earlier, Narita, the airport I'm flying from, is actually quite a long way out of the city. So I'm going to be staying in a hotel there tonight. And that's where I'll finish this video. Alright then, Megatripper. As promised, I'm now signing off from the hotel at Narita Airport before I head off to my next destination. I'll tell you a little bit more about that and why I'm staying in a hotel by the airport in a second. But first, I guess, as ever, let's see what £63 gets you at the airport or near the airport. So this is the Narita Tobu Hotel. It is, like I said, right by the airport, the shuttle there. And we'll talk about that in a second. This is what you get. It's a little bit dated, I'm not going to lie, but you get some nice full-length mirrors here. A very good sized room, particularly compared to the other rooms in Japan. This is a twin, but I'm just here on my own. What have we got here? Your kind of ubiquitous kettle, icebox, a little fridge. Anything in that? No, but you pop down to the convenience store, you can get yourself something there. Little desk and working area, as ever, got the laptop out. Twin beds. No USB power points, that's interesting. Like I said, slightly older hotel, but plenty of power and lights and what have you. A nice little seating area and a window with a view. We'll come back to that window view in a second. Of course, you also get a bathroom, and this is, I guess, a little bit of a breakaway from what we've seen in some of the other hotels that we stayed in. Just shut the toilet in there, but it gives you an idea. Again, pretty standard. Your cups, plenty of washing stuff, nice little accessories, hair dryer, and actually pretty decent sized bath. But like I said, all very much from the 80s by the looks of it. But that's fine. So this was £63 a night. I'll put the prices up as usual, do my little conversion on there. But I just want to check out, I guess, the view from the window as well. So nice bit of forest and some surrounding hotels. And like I said, right over there, you can just about see the airport. So, Why am I staying at a hotel right by the airport? Look, it's pretty simple, and this would be a tip for you. If you are flying out of Narita, it is a good long way from Tokyo. So door to door, it probably took us 2.5 days today. 2.5 hours today to get here. And that's probably a good reason. If you're flying early, I would recommend staying in a hotel by the airport. But like I said, off my next little adventure, this will be 24 hours in another big Southeast Asian city, somewhere I haven't been before, so very excited for that. Just wanted to say, one, thank you for watching, and two, if you're not subscribed, and a lot of you aren't, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. That makes sure you get notifications, you find out when there's more content coming. All you got to do is ring that little icon down there. It's completely free, doesn't take your card details, doesn't cost you anything. It just means that we let you know, or YouTube lets you know when there's a new video out. But anyway, that's it for me, for now, signing off from Megatrip in Japan.